Imagine a civilization so powerful. It built monuments that touched the sky, and so advanced. Its secrets still baffle us today. For over 3,000 years, ancient Egypt wasn't just a kingdom. It was the world's superpower. So, how did this colossal empire rise from the desert sands? And what led to its eventual decline? Let's journey back in time, along the banks of the mighty Nile. Our story begins around 3100 BC. Before this, Egypt was a land of two halves. Upper Egypt in the south, and Lower Egypt in the north. Then came a legendary figure, King Narmer, often identified with Minas. He did the unthinkable. He united the two lands, creating the first unified state in history and establishing the first dynasty. This unification was the spark that ignited Egypt's flame. With a single ruler, the Pharaoh, who was seen as a living god, Egypt found stability and a common purpose. This stability ushered in the Old Kingdom, also known as the Age of the Pyramids. This is when the most iconic structures on Earth were built. Think of the Step Pyramid of Djoser, the first of its kind, and then the breathtaking Great Pyramid of Giza, built for Pharaoh Khufu. These weren't just tombs. They were statements of power, faith, and incredible engineering. To build them required a highly organized society, a sophisticated understanding of mathematics and astronomy, and a massive, dedicated workforce. The annual flooding of the Nile, which deposited fertile silt, ensured a food surplus, allowing society to focus on these monumental projects. The pharaoh's authority was absolute, and the concept of asterisk, mad asterisk, divine order, truth, and justice was the guiding principle of life. But even the mightiest pyramids cast long shadows. After centuries of prosperity, the Old Kingdom began to crumble. The immense costs of building pyramids strained the economy. Local governors, or namaks, grew more powerful, challenging the central authority of the pharaoh. A period of climate change led to lower Nile floods and widespread famine. The divine order seemed broken, and Egypt plunged into its first intermediate period, a time of division, conflict, and uncertainty. The unity that had defined Egypt was shattered. Out of this chaos, a new line of powerful pharaohs from Thebes rose to reunite the land, heralding the Middle Kingdom. This era is often called the Classical Age. While pyramid building continued, it was on a smaller scale. The focus shifted to strengthening the administration, expanding trade, and fortifying the borders. Art and literature flourished, with stories like the Tale of Sinog, giving us a profound look into the Egyptian mindset. The pharaohs of the Middle Kingdom presented themselves not just as distant gods, but as shepherds of their people, responsible for their welfare. It was a time of renaissance, a return to glory, but it too would face a new, foreign threat. Around 1650 BC, a group from Western Asia known as the Hyksos swept into the Nile Delta. They brought with them advanced military technology, like the horse-drawn chariot and the composite bow, which the Egyptians had never seen. The Hyksos established their own dynasty in Lower Egypt, ruling for over a century. For the proud Egyptians, this was a deep humiliation. This foreign domination, however, forced them to adapt and innovate. It was a brutal but necessary wake-up call. The Egyptians learned from their conquerors. After a series of fierce battles, the Theban pharaoh Moses successfully drove the Hyksos out, reuniting Egypt once more and kicking off the new kingdom. This wasn't just a restoration. It was the birth of an empire. Determined to never be invaded again, the pharaohs of the new kingdom became conquerors themselves. This was the age of legendary rulers. Hatshepsut, a female pharaoh who ruled as a king, oversaw a period of immense prosperity and grand construction projects. Thutmose III, the Napoleon of Egypt, expanded the empire to its greatest extent, from Syria in the north to Nubia, deep in the south. And, of course, who could forget Akhenaten, the heretic king? He and his beautiful wife, Nefertiti, turned Egypt's religious world upside down by abandoning the traditional pantheon of gods to worship a single deity, the sun disk Aten. This was a radical revolution that didn't last. His son, the boy king Tutankhamun, restored the old gods. But his own fame would come thousands of years later with the discovery of his magnificent, untouched tomb. Then came Ramses the Great, Ramses II, a master of propaganda and a great warrior who fought the Hittites at the Battle of Kadesh. He ruled for 67 years, covering Egypt with temples and statues of himself, cementing his legacy as one of the most powerful pharaohs in history. The new kingdom was the peak of Egyptian power and influence. Gold from Nubia flowed into the treasury, and tributes from conquered lands made Egypt unimaginably wealthy. The Valley of the Kings became the new royal cemetery, a hidden necropolis of rock-cut tombs designed to protect the pharaoh's eternal rest. But again, this golden age could not last forever. The decline was slow, a gradual erosion over centuries. A series of external threats, including the mysterious sea peoples who wreaked havoc across the Mediterranean, weakened Egypt's borders. Internal struggles for the throne and a growing, corrupt priesthood at Thebes chipped away at the pharaoh's power. The economy, once mighty, began to falter. Egypt lost its foreign territories and its grip on vital trade routes. By the time we reached the late period, Egypt was a shadow of its former self, often falling under the control of foreign powers, Libyans, Nubians, and then the mighty Persian Empire. Though there were brief moments of independence, the age of Egyptian dominance was over. The final chapter was written by a young Macedonian general, Alexander the Great, in 332 BC. He marched into Egypt and was welcomed as a liberator from Persian rule. He founded the city of Alexandria, which would become a new beacon of learning and culture. After his death, his general Ptolemy took control, establishing the Ptolemaic dynasty. These new rulers, though Greek, adopted many Egyptian customs, even presenting themselves as pharaohs. The last of this line was the brilliant and cunning Cleopatra VII. She famously allied herself with Roman leaders Julius Caesar and Mark Antony in a desperate bid to keep Egypt independent. But with her defeat and death in 30 BC, Egypt was annexed by Rome, becoming a province of the Roman Empire. The 3,000-year-long line of pharaohs had come to an end. The rise and fall of ancient Egypt is a story of unity and division, of incredible innovation and crippling tradition, of divine kings and foreign invaders. It's a reminder that even the most enduring civilizations eventually fade into the sands of time. But their legacy, written in stone and papyrus, continues to captivate and inspire us, a timeless testament to human ambition and ingenuity. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through ancient history. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure. See you next time.